And the elevators have changed as well. I mean, they look better. There's like birds, you can hear them, and the birds. Yeah, the birds will be a part of the story as well. Trying to avoid spoilers. So the elevators look better. But the elevators were quite big in the first game, and now there's single-person elevators in the second game. I'm not quite sure why they chose to make it smaller. I don't know. Anyway, so I guess at the start of this game we're actually going through the same spaces in the first game.
If you feel liquid running down your neck, relax, lie on your back, and apply immediate pressure to your temples. You are simply experiencing a rare reaction in which the material emancipation grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
That's terrible. So we're going through the same rooms as in the first game, although obviously now they're a bit broken down. But they still function the same way, both in terms of in the game, like you still have to put the cube on the button, and also in terms of teaching the player about the game and how to play and introducing the player to the different elements of the game. So you see number 1 of 19. That's different though. I think the icons have changed a little bit. Like that icon wasn't there before, was it? That wasn't there before. That used to be cake. So, and the energy pellets, that's right, the energy pellets are gone. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that used to be energy pellets in those two. That used to be the cake, so a little bit changed. Interesting. I don't know if energy pellets are still in this game. Maybe they've changed it up. Oh, that. I shouldn't have been doing that. Like, okay, as in the first game, like I keep playing it as though I know what's gonna happen already, but I don't. I'm not supposed to. Anyway, so this room is a modified version of the corresponding room in the first game. What's supposed to happen here is supposed to be walk in, and you see the cube and the button, then the button, then the buttons, and then you're supposed to hear the portal opening behind you, and then you would turn around and look at it. Or at least that's what they say is supposed to happen in the developer commentary. And obviously the portal makes a sound, you can hear it. There. And I think that's meant to train you to look around the room for clues, and also to familiarize you with the audio cues and everything else. And that, when you press the button, it makes a sound. In fact, it makes a more distinctive sound than in the first game. And then that lights up, and then that blinks a bit, and then that opens the portal. So, did they really make it, obvious and bright and flashing and everything else just to draw your attention? So it's very difficult for you to miss the clues. And again, continuing on from the first game and the things I discussed there, just making sure you understand the puzzles, at least at the beginning. And then that's a mark of a good puzzle design. You want the player to be able to do it, If you're here to teach the player about the puzzle, then you want to make sure they understand. Let's see, that goes to there, opens the door, the exit is there. So again, the symbols, the text, the crosses, the exit and all that. So yeah, so they're really aware that at this point they're teaching you.
Because of the technical difficulties we are currently experiencing, your test environment is unsupervised. Before re-entering a relaxation vault at the conclusion of testing, please take a moment to write down the results of your test. An Aperture Science Reintegration Associate will revive you for an interview when society has been rebuilt.
When society has been rebuilt. So again, conveying to you the story about how everything's falling apart and no one's actually here anymore. Wow, messed up. Yeah, so I mean, obviously Valve is quite aware that at this point in the game, they're teaching you. They're not really testing you yet. They're teaching you the ideas. So these aren't really real puzzles, because they're so easy. They're like the tutorial section. And that's, it might seem obvious, or it might seem like really trivial things. It's not trivial. Like it's really important that if you're gonna set up...
If the Earth is currently governed by a manner of animal king, sentient cloud, or other governing body that either refuses to or is incapable of listening to reason.
Animal king, sentient cloud. This is kind of fun. Animal king takeover. Yeah, it's important to teach the players before you start testing them. It's like it's a bit silly to test people before you've taught them anything, because what are you testing? If they're not meant to know something yet, and then you start testing them, it doesn't make any sense. It's only when you've taught them something, then you can start testing them, and then only that makes sense. Imagine like if you go into a class and they give you the exam on the first day. Like, why? What's the point? They haven't taught you anything yet. Anyway, we should move on. These are quite funny. I like these a lot. Although, as with everything else, I've seen them several times before, and obviously it's not funny the third time you see it. Ah, this is interesting. Remember this level in the...
Hey! You made it! There should be a portal device on that podium over there. I can't see it though. Maybe it fell off. Do you want to go and have a quick look?
I think he would keep talking.
It's alright,
yeah, he will. So he's kind of annoying for me, because I'm trying to do a commentator walkthrough. Remember in the first game?
Okay, just stand by the podium and just look up.
Okay. Remember in the first game, what would happen is the door would be locked. You came in here and GLaDOS would talk to you. And so for like 5 seconds you have to stand here and look at the portal gun functioning, putting portals on the walls, and that was their method of introducing you to the fact that the portal gun creates portals. But here they've changed it up a little bit. The portal gun is not actually there. And there's Wheatley telling you to go look at it. So he's telling you what to do, by the way, in case you don't know. Although, I mean, there's nowhere else to go really, but still, he's telling you what to do to progress the game, which is to come over here.
Hello? Can you see the portal gun?
Nope.
Also, are you alive? That's important. Should have asked that first. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on the assumption that you're still alive, and I'm just going to wait for you up ahead. I'll wait 1 hour, then I'll come back, and assuming I can locate your dead body, I'll bury you. Alright? Brilliant. Go team! See you in an hour, hopefully. If you're not dead.
So there's the arrows again. The arrows look different this time. They look better drawn, and it says follow. And I guess here you are first introduced to the underbelly of Aperture Science, and we'll see more of this later on. What did Wheatley talk about? He said, hope you're not dead. Come back in an hour. I mean that's kind of funny. Although, again, I'm kind of used to it now. If you've watched this for the first time, you might chuckle a little bit. And he talks a lot about dying and things going wrong. I guess that's part of the setting up the tone of the game. It's humorous, but it's also a bit of dark humor. You joke about people dying and then things going wrong, and things do go wrong, although you don't die in the game. And this is quite cool. So they've got this artwork going on. That's, well, like, should I mean, I guess there's two types of people who play this game. Either people who've played through the first game already, or people who haven't played through the first game and are for some reason playing the second game first. If you're the second type of person, you wouldn't know what this stuff means. Although maybe you'll remember these images, and then later on when the story fleshes out, you'll get a better idea. So that's GLaDOS. I mean, if you've played the first game, then that's GLaDOS. There's a scientist. And then a lot of screaming and dying because of GLaDOS. And there's a guy who really likes that cube, and the cube has hearts drawn on it. That's the companion cube, of course. And then there's Chell, there's you, the player. GLaDOS offering Chell cake, and this guy has the companion cube. And I can't really see what's going on there. But we kill GLaDOS. He takes the portal gun, that's interesting. And then that's Chell there, asleep, in some sort of a saint-like figure. Let's walk up here. Like, she even has that cross on her chest. I mean, the symbolism is, I don't know if they've meant it like that, but it does seem like there's a cross on her chest and she's kind of sleeping like a sleeping beauty, or, you know, as I said, some sort of saint. And, you know, there's a light coming down from the top as well, so that's kind of cool. And there she's like ascending upwards, which, if you remember the ending of the first game, that's kind of what happened. We got sucked upwards as we killed GLaDOS. Anyway, that's the portal gun that this guy recovered, and you notice it's making a sound and it's sparking to draw your attention. Again, highlighting the important stuff to make sure you notice it. Although it doesn't tell you what to do with it. That's interesting. Let me walk around a bit just to make sure. Like, there's no cue on the screen telling you to press the mouse button to shoot and fire a portal. Again, you know, Valve tests their games a lot, and so if they don't have that on the screen, maybe they've tested it on thousands of people and no one's ever had a problem with it before. So I guess it comes fairly naturally that once you pick it up, you'll fire portals. And obviously we've seen the blue portal and the orange portal before, and Wheatley did call this the portal gun, and that it creates holes. And yeah, maybe it's simple enough for people to put 2 and 2 together, and you don't need to tell people that. And they've decided that because they've tested it so many times, that, you know, they can be sure it works. You also see how you can see the portals from behind, or when it's obscured. That's an addition to the game. It wasn't like that in the first game. I mean, technologically it's quite impressive. Well, I guess it's not that impressive. But, you know, you can see through walls and see things beyond it. Obviously in terms of gameplay it helps a lot. And later on in complex puzzles, that helps, because then you know where you put your portals and all that. In the first game they didn't have very much of that. Like, there were some parts where you have to, you know, put portals in very distant places, and then you kind of have to remember where you put it. I guess with that they can do more of those puzzles and it will be manageable still. So where are we? We've got a photocopier, an office, sort of. How old is this computer? Let me just try and see what it is. It's got the big floppy drive, but it's also got the small one. I don't know my computer history well enough to know what year that's from. This thing might not even have a hard drive. If that's the case, then it could be from... Oh no, I'm stuck. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm good. So this thing might be from the early 1990s, possibly. I don't know my computer history well enough to know exactly when it's from. 1980s, 1990s or so. Like, these things, I don't know, maybe you guys know your history better than I do. Maybe you're more qualified nerds than I am, and you know. The portal makes a sound as well, you can hear it. Again, audio cues and visual cues and all that.